Today I want to talk about how to spend your time and what to do when you don't have any friends. Because this is something that I was really struggling with for years, and I spend a lot of time alone, and it's really hard for me to make friends because I'm a little bit of an anxious person. It's kind of hard for me to get out of the house, especially in the sort of area that I live in. I just don't really always have that many opportunities to talk to kids my age. Also due to the fact that I'm homeschooled, or I do online. So I figured I would just talk about some things because honestly, it sucks being lonely. And I feel like I honestly don't really get lonely a lot. I do notice if I don't leave the house for a while, then I'll start to get like a little bit of zoochosis and I go a little bit crazy, but I don't know. Loneliness is not really like much of a struggle for me. So I just thought I'd share some things to try to be helpful. Um, the first thing is using your alone time to your advantage and not just sitting on your phone all day, because that's something that I used to do. And um, just because you're not hanging out with people doesn't mean that you can't have fun. And you don't even have to leave your house to have fun. Really, you need to kind of get a different perspective on what it means to be alone. Um, and reframe it in a more positive way, because even if you're someone like me and one of your goals is to become more social and talk to more people, you know, it's not really just going to change in like the snap of a finger, and you're not just going to wake up and have like a billion best friends. So, if you're in this sort of transition phase, or even if you're not and you're just like, I want to know how to spend more time alone without, feeling lonely, then, you can really just stay off your phone as much as possible, you know, and figure out use this as a time for like self-discovery, right? The best time to discover who you really are is when you're not around anybody else and you don't have anybody else influencing you. And there's a lot of ways you can do this. I like to journal. I like to make these little videos. That's very fun for me. I just sit there and make TikToks and I just ramble and yap about certain things, and I find that I get a lot of insights as to who I am, and watching these videos back and seeing stuff, it really puts into perspective the sort of person that I am at the moment. So I think that's very helpful. And if you're someone who wants to journal, then you know you can create a list of prompts and things, or even just start writing about the person that you want to be and the person that you are right now. Another good way that you can spend your time alone is just being artistic, right? We all have a lot of this is especially for people who have a lot of like creative dreams, and they want to do something that's, they would love to do something that is kind of unconventional, you know or even if you just have hobbies, because a lot of times we feel like it's not realistic to pursue our dreams, and we often just get like boring day jobs and just do whatever to pay the bills, and that's entirely fine. But use the free time that you have to pursue the things that you love, because what's really the point in living then if you're just sitting on your phone all the time when you have free time, or you're just constantly lying in bed and thinking about how lonely you are. It's not really going to get you anywhere. And if you're someone who feels kind of lost and you're like, well, I don't really know what my passions are, or I don't really have any sort of artistic pursuits or hobbies, I think some fun ideas are, like for me, for example, I've really gotten into eating healthy lately and cooking meals and doing a little meal prep stuff. I actually think that's very fun, and really um, just kind of making the meals that you make a little art. It's a very little thing, but it's so cute, and I look forward to eating every day now, so that's nice. And I play guitar and I write music and I make music. That's something that I've been getting into more recently this year. And I have to say that's a lot of fun for me. I love to make playlists. I personally am very guilty of staying up late because I get busy making playlists and getting very particular about the photos that I use and things, in my opinion, making playlists is an art, and that's something that can take up a lot of my time, or even just, especially if you're home alone, dude, just fucking blast music all the time. I swear, first of all, I mean, it helps a lot with loneliness because there's a lot of noise going around you. If you're constantly in silence, I think it can make you feel even more isolated. So listening to whatever music you like, because then, sometimes when we hang out with people, we can't really listen to all those like guilty pleasure songs that we have. So really soak up the fucking shitty music that you like while you can, until you make more friends, I swear. Also, this is what I've been wanting to get into, but I haven't this year, is sewing. I think sewing would be a great way to spend your time, or just doing little crafts and things, because I think it really helps you to connect to your child self, and that can be really helpful in also discovering what your passions are and finding out what you do like if you're a bit lost on that and you just don't know. Another fun thing that you can do to enjoy your time alone is choose a topic to get really educated on. Recently I decided that I really want to get into learning history, and specifically right now I'm learning about ancient Egyptian history, which is something that I've always had an interest in since I was younger, but I had never gotten into it just until now because I didn't really know how to find reliable resources on it. But I literally just found a documentary that I thought seemed reliable on YouTube, and I'm really into that, and that can also be really helpful if you're going to integrate yourself more into society again and you're trying to talk to new people, is you have something actually valuable to speak about. And I think it takes the pressure off and it takes the awkwardness away from small talk when you can just talk about the things that you actually like. So just find something and honestly just do a deep dive on it, do a ton of research. I swear it's seriously so much fun. Plus it's a way that you can still kind of be on your screen if that's what you want to do, but you're not just kind of doom scrolling, you know what I mean? This next one might make you feel like you're a little bit crazy, but just talking to yourself is actually a lot of fun once you start doing it. When I first started doing it, I felt really awkward, and I felt just silly and almost like I was going a little bit crazy. But I think after a while I just realized that it helps me to actually be more conscious of the things that I'm thinking, and it just helps with your thought process, and it can help with loneliness because you're hearing voices. Not really having any friends can be really troubling to think about. I know that it used to be for me because I just thought to myself, what's wrong with me? I can't connect with people. I can't find people I like. I can't find people who like me. What's going on? And I think for me, it's a lot about, right now, it's just that I just don't really live in a place where people really understand me. And, most people where I live think it's weird to dress up and wear the sort of clothes that you like and listen to the sort of music that I listen to. And after doing a lot of self-reflection, I just realized that there's nothing really wrong with me. If you can't really find friends, realize that part of it is probably, some of it may be your fault because maybe you're not open to meeting new people. And that's something that I can say that I definitely struggle with. But also just realizing that nothing's inherently wrong with you. You shouldn't feel ashamed because you don't have any friends. It's really just a matter of finding the people that you can connect with. And also just, I think as long as you're kind to people and you treat others fairly, then you're not doing a whole lot wrong, because it would make sense that nobody would want to be friends with you if you don't know how to be a kind person or you choose not to be one. If you find yourself being mean to people, I used to kind of be that way in middle school. I was not always the kindest person to people, even if I felt like I had valid reasons for not liking them. I think it just comes down to realizing that, it just looks ugly when you're unkind to people. And if you want to learn how to be nicer, then I would just say always think before you speak. I think a lot of times when we're alone, we can get a lot of FOMO when we're always seeing what other people are doing online, or if people are telling us about all the fun things that they're doing out in the world. And I just want to remind you that a real experience is not really the same as what it looks like in a picture. People show you the best pictures, the most fun parts of the night, but they don't really talk about or show you the bad parts of uh, whatever experience that they're having with other people around, And, a big thing is just to stop fantasizing about, you know, I'll be so happy when I get to experience this and I have this big friend group and I can do this and that and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just not really helpful when you feel like you're always missing out on something, and it's it just makes you unhappier with the present moment. So really, all in all, it just doesn't. It's not really going to help you. Um, I think a big thing is just when you find yourself fantasizing about something and experience, just say, okay, well, am I willing to do this alone? And if you're not, then you just need to find a way to move on from it and say, well, I'm gonna find something else to do right now that's by myself. That is fun for me. Because you can't really change it, and I mean, maybe you might even want to think about deleting Instagram for a while, or whatever social media apps that you use that just make you feel like, dang, like, am I missing out on the real world? um I think oftentimes we see these people who are our age or are younger than us and think, oh my god, they're doing so much in their life, and what am I doing? I'm just sitting in my bedroom. And you have to realize that you have to meet yourself where you're at. We all have different experiences in life and that have gotten us to where we are. Just being in nature is a lot of fun if you're open to it. And it's not really something that you need to do with other people. I just go in my backyard. I have a little swing set back there, and in the summer I like to hammock and things. And I mean, hammocking by yourself is a lot of fun. If it feels embarrassing to leave your house by yourself, then I mean, first of all, I would just start with little things. Like, it's not, you just kind of have to put it into perspective, right? Like, is it embarrassing when you go to the grocery store by yourself? I don't think so. Is it embarrassing to, just go on a little walk by yourself? I don't think so. Like, just, if you're trying to start doing things outside of your house alone, just start with things that you're comfortable with, and then kind of slowly work your way up. Maybe like having a little date by yourself, going out to eat by yourself. Don't start with the biggest thing, I would say. Just do what's comfortable at the moment. And if you're one of those people who you feel like you just can't stand to be on your own, I think that just you want to find ways to get more comfortable with yourself. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to look like how anybody else is doing it. You don't have to lock yourself in your bedroom for a whole weekend and think that if you're not happy, then something must be wrong with you. Because I think that now we're in kind of this state where everybody's saying, you need to go on solo trips, you need to feel comfortable doing everything alone. And that's just not true. I don't think anybody feels comfortable doing everything alone. I mean, maybe some people do because they're extremely comfortable with themselves, but I would say majority of us just feel like we don't want to do everything alone. So just don't feel ashamed. I think a good practice for if you're trying to just be comfortable with yourself is honestly just lying in your bed and just making sure there's no distractions around you. So there's no lights, there's no music, no anything, and just closing your eyes and just focus on like what it feels like to be inside your body. And I think that can be really helpful with eventually building yourself up to being comfortable just by being with you.